So I've been outside the Starbucks Reserve editing my video and stuff, and I kid you not, just in the past hour there's been over like 100 tourists who have came and been super just shocked of what they're looking at. Let me show you. Right now there's not many, but sometimes they come in droves. And it's crazy because a lot of the workers who were supposed to work today showed up at 8 a.m. and they didn't get notice till maybe 5 minutes before on a pre-recorded note as well. Insanity. And this is gonna go on probably for the whole week. People who don't know, because this is such a big, like, a Seattle tourist spot. The news station is still here. The shit that gets me is that, imagine this is your only income, like your only job, and you get notice that you're fired on the day of, like you're scheduled at 8 a.m. and they tell you, hey gang, you're not employed anymore. Imagine, like, what do you do? Like, we live in a time right now where it's already hard with the job market and everything going on, and like, that's a lot of people's reality today. But yeah, it's crazy.
Major breaking news about Starbucks this morning. The company just announced it is now laying off 900 non-retail employees.
I'm in Capitol Hill outside the Starbucks Reserve Roastery, and you can see all the windows are boarded up here. There's also a sign posted on the front. It says, "It is with heavy hearts that we announce the closure of the Seattle Reserve Roastery. Thank you for making us a part of your life."
Corporate employees, 900 of them losing their jobs, in addition to a cut of 1% of all stores, coffee shops across the country. Kind of shocking news for us here in Seattle, because we also just learned that the two roasteries in town, the one at the main world headquarters down the street, also is closing.
POV, you found out your store will be permanently closed in 2 days.
Damn. Bro, how long has that been in there? How long is it? I know you're fucking lying. Oh my god.
Hi, I'm a Starbucks employee in downtown Toronto, and I just received a call from my manager that our entire team is fired. We are a high traffic store. We had almost 100% customer satisfaction rate. Why are we fired? We asked, could we be relocated in any other store? Because most of us were full-time. All of us have rent to pay. Some of us are parents. We have kids to care about. There was absolutely no signs of closure. Right now it is September 25th. Last day of operation is September 27th. For such a huge company, this is unacceptable. There will be a union formed and we will fight back.
Starbucks just announced that it will shut down 1% of its stores and lay off about 900 people in a $1 billion restructuring program.
So I'm at a practice picket for Starbucks Workers United over here in Chicago. We have all these people practicing picketing, and basically what's happening is Starbucks is one of the worst union busters in America right now. Only outdone, but also maybe on par with Amazon. All they want is a fair contract. Starbucks is trying to close down stores. They are firing organizers, and all these people want is fair pay, fair hours, and the ability to do their job. And yet Starbucks punishes them anyway, despite their CEO making over 6,000 times what a worker makes in a year. So, if you're going to Starbucks and you see people on the picket line, don't break it. And if you want to support them, check out to see if your local Starbucks is organized, if it's in a union, and especially in Illinois, support your unionized stores.
Starbucks is saying bye-bye to some baristas as well as some of their white-collar workers. Starbucks just announced that they're planning to lay off 900 white-collar workers from their Seattle HQ, as well as close 1% of stores. So that's unfortunate for those who worked in Seattle or those who worked at a Starbucks shop. But I believe part of their issue and the reason that their foot traffic has declined is because Starbucks became too open for everyone, so it became welcoming to no one.
What's happening to Starbucks should be studied. They just announced they're closing stores. They're laying off a whole bunch of people. They're estimating it's going to cost them over $1 billion to restructure. They got too big for their britches and felt like they could do and say whatever they wanted. People boycotted them for a whole bunch of different reasons. There were so many different Starbucks boycotts. I can't even remember all of them. But they fucked around and they found out. Americans voted with their dollars. Chose not to. On top of, because I'm sure I'm going to hear it in the comments, we broke. We broke. Ain't nobody got $5, $6 for a coffee. When I get a coffee at Starbucks, every now and then when I have to run out of here, because I do 3 cups a day, straight black here. But when I can't, because I don't have the time, I'll go to Starbucks and I'll get a large with a couple of shots. Yeah, it's like $7. It works though. I'm ready to go all day. But I can't even tell you the last time I did it. And I probably don't even do it a dozen times a year. But yeah, Americans voted with their dollars, and now Starbucks is closing stores and laying blue and purple hair people off.
It has officially happened. Starbucks Reserve Roastery in Seattle is closed. There were 6 Starbucks Reserve Roasteries in the world. The first one that ever opened is the one in Seattle. I worked at this location for 2 years. They closed this morning without any notice. Staff literally showed up to the store at 5 a.m. and the store was closed and boarded up. I guess they closed an hour early last night, telling all of the staff that it was for maintenance, but they were actually just going to board up all the windows and close permanently. There's over 100 people that work at that store. My heart goes out to all the people that lost their jobs today. I have a lot of opinions on Starbucks, none of which are good. So a majority of the articles say that the reasoning for the closing was to reallocate funds to different stores. That is the most BS excuse I've ever heard. It's obviously because they are a union store. They've been pushing the union for long before I even worked there. And supposedly the Starbucks union was planning a 3-week strike coming up. I mean, it's no shocker that they closed. And it's also no shocker that you thought Starbucks was going to care enough to give you a heads up. They've never given anyone a heads up when closing a store. I'm not shocked or surprised, and the Wicked Witch is dead.
Breaking: Starbucks is closing stores left and right and laying off hundreds of workers, all so that their executives can get massive $6 million bonuses this year. As you're already aware, Starbucks has been struggling majorly as customers have abandoned it in droves. Starbucks brought in a new executive from Chipotle to turn things around, and so far he's failed to boost sales. So since they can't boost sales, they're now focusing on cutting costs. And a few months ago, Starbucks executives got together with the board and they said that all of the top executives will get a $6 million bonus if they cut costs beyond a certain amount this year. And so once they got these massive $6 million bonuses approved in July, it was only a matter of time before the big cost cutting started. And so here we are. Hundreds of stores and workers will all be slashed. And it's all because Starbucks greedy executives want their big bonuses and that they couldn't figure out how to boost sales by lowering prices. Starbucks for closing stores and laying off people left and right simply because you could not boost your sales by coming up with a better strategy. You just made the D3 List, a podcast about gun desperate and diabolical business decisions.
Alright everybody, there you have it actually. If you're a MAGA supporter who actually voted to bring jobs to American soil, well, I'm sorry to tell you that we told you so. Americans told you. Black folks want Democrats. People on the left actually want y'all. You went ahead and believed in the lies of the orange man. Yeah, and that was after getting a scare of your life back in 2017. So you cannot actually sit here and look at us in the eyes and claim that this was a mistake, that you were deceived, that you were betrayed. No, you actually knew what was coming. How was running on a campaign of mass deportations and also hitting countries that do business with the states with a lot of tariffs actually was going to bring back jobs to the United States, American soil. It wasn't possible actually for that to happen. Now you guys are losing. American homegrown company laying off hundreds and hundreds of jobs. Now you're panicking because Starbucks it's cutting over 900 non-retail jobs as part of the 1 billion restructuring plan. Well, I think it's the profit plan because the economy is in shambles, man. People are not buying as they used to. People are choosing to make coffee at home, not go to Starbucks and buy a $7 coffee because the economy is hurting right now because of the tariffs, because the policies of the orange man that are hurting a lot of Americans. So Americans are actually choosing to spend less and less because they have less money than they used to. So this is actually costing a lot of businesses, which are resulting in a lot of layoffs that we have seen lately. American companies are using layoffs as a way of cutting costs and making sure that they can make some profit, regardless of the fact that their CEOs, managerial positions, are earning 6-10 times more than the regular worker. Now, this has proven to be a trend in America, especially right now. Many corporations cannot actually cope with these tariffs because these people, especially MAGA voters and these corporations, voted and endorsed the orange man thinking they were going to get favors, but they ain't getting the favors. As we all know, the tariffs are not being paid by China or Canada or Mexico or Europe. They are actually coming off regular American pocket because even these companies cannot allow themselves to actually eat up the tariff, regardless of the fact that they make billions and billions of dollars. They are not going to bail you out. No, they are actually going to make sure that they pass that cost to the final consumer. And what happens to the final consumer is either you're ready to pay for higher prices or you cut down on cost. And I think a lot of regular Americans have actually woken up to the fact that they're saying, wait a minute, I don't need to buy coffee, a $7 coffee at Starbucks when I can make it at home. I can cut costs on that because I ain't getting higher salary wages, but the cost of living is going up and up and up. Things are getting more expensive. The orange man promised to bring down the cost of groceries and eggs, but it ain't happening. That's the wake-up call that MAGA is actually getting. And the problem is that those people on the left that y'all wanted actually to own tried to own y'all, and it's unfair that they are having to actually pay the price, same price that you guys are paying. But let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think about these employees waking up to emails of getting laid off, and tourists and people getting to their favorite Starbucks and finding that it's shut closed, man, with a message on the door. Let me know in the comments your opinions about today's episode. I'm your presenter, Joel Mogisha. If you're new, kindly consider subscribing and being part of this growing community. Don't forget to hit that like button. See you in the next episode.